this is Into the Breach. It is a turn-based grid strategy roguelike game developed by Subset Games and their second game after Faster Than Light. It was released on February 2018 and even got a free DLC 4.5 years later. In this game, you control an army of 3 mechs, that is to say, futuristic robots designed to combat the Vex, giant bug-like creatures that wiped off most of humanity. Even though it is a grid strategy game, Into the Breach's battle system is completely different from all of them on many aspects. First of all, the main objective of each mission. Yes, every mission where you're sent against the Vex has its own set of sub-objectives like protect a specific building or kill a certain amount of Vex, but the main objective will always be the same: survive. Into the Breach is not a game where you win against the threat of the Vex. The goal here is to save as many civilians as possible by protecting the buildings on each map. Speaking of which, surviving in this game has a very different meaning. Even though you're a fighter, you're still a civilian, like every other. And if your mech gets destroyed, the AI can still use it for the next fights. Even if all your mechs die, the game isn't over. The only way you can lose is if all your buildings, also called power grid, get destroyed. In short, your buildings are your HP, and if you lose too many of them, it's game over. Protecting is truly the keyword in this game, and this is precisely where another major difference in gameplay comes into play. In other tactical grid games like Fire Emblem or Advance Wars, you always start first. In Into the Breach, Vex act first, and every turn they checkmate you by threatening to damage your mechs, or worse, your buildings. You then have to strategically move your mechs out of enemy fire and protect the field for around 5 turns total. Fortunately, the game offers you an insane array of tools to get rid of the Vex. Of course, you can simply deplete their HP by shooting them really hard, but it's far from the only solution. You can, for example, push them away from the target, freeze them, turn them around, smoke them. But if you prefer damage, you can push them on walls or on each other so they take extra damage, burn them so they slowly die over time, or spray acid on them so they take double damage. Or, if you're feeling particularly heroic, you can put yourself between a ranged Vex and a building to tank the hits. Tanking hits is a vital part of the game, and the game heavily encourages you to do so. In fact, every turn, additional Vex spawn from the ground. Now, what happens if you stand on the tile where a Vex is supposed to emerge? Simple. It won't, and your mech will take 1 HP of damage. But just like many things in the game, it's a double-edged sword. Less Vex obviously means less threats to deal with each turn, but it also means less EXP, meaning your pilots level up slower. Indeed, each pilot can level up and gain new helpful perks for the game, but the main way to upgrade them and their mechs is by acquiring reactor cores by completing certain objectives. These upgrades range from increasing damage, health, movement, and so on. So until you get these cores, your mechs are pretty weak. So how do you deal with this many Vex early on? Remember what I said about blocking Vex or pushing them? What if I told you that you can push them in the range of other Vex, or on tiles where other Vex would spawn? So not only it blocks their spawning, but the Vex blocking is the one taking the damage. I barely scratched the surface before, but the game's depth is almost limitless, and I didn't even take map events into account. One map requires you to destroy a dam, flooding and killing all non-flying Vex because they can't swim. One map requires to protect the launch of a satellite, and if successful, the satellite kills everything around it when launching. You can even allow yourself to experiment with wacky stuff, for you have access to 1 free turn reroll on every map. It is a deceptively simple game hiding an ocean of strategic decisions beneath. If you're wondering why I'm talking about this game right now, it's because I have hundreds of hours sunk in it, and I figured it would be a good entry point to introduce you to more roguelikes, by far my favorite video game genre. I will only make these kinds of videos every now and then, because I want you to be able to experience good roguelike games as well. I'll be going now. This has been Dr.Pitanger. See you guys in the next video.